The Emoji Movie review. So I tried to do this a little while back, but I didn't have a script, so I didn't have a blog post in mind, so I didn't write that yet. So I didn't like the way it turned out. I was pausing a lot. There was a lot of things I wanted to get to that I never did, so I'm going to try this again. Here we go. I've always been into movies, ever since I was little. I've always been asked what my favorite movie is. But what I've discovered is that the older I get, the more difficult it is to pick a single favorite movie. But if you were asking me what my least favorite movie is, I'd give you the same answer without even a second thought since the moment I watched it. The Emoji Movie. But first, some background information. I consider myself a pretty easy guy to please when it comes to movies. There aren't really a lot of movies out there that I hate. There's just movies that I love, movies that I love, movies that I like, movies I think are just okay, and then there's movies that disappointed me. Being someone that rags on stuff like the angry video game nerd, nostalgia critic, I hate everything. I think his real name's Alex something, he's British. And Adam from Your Movie Sucks isn't really who I am as a person. I prefer to give credit where it's due. If a movie did something bad, I want to talk about how I would have done to fix it. If it does something good, I want to praise it. That's who I am. That's why I included a section in my reviews where I talk about what I would have done differently. Because all these other reviewers, when they talk about movies and criticize them, they don't talk about what they would have done to improve them if they were in the director's chair. However, this is probably the one movie that I absolutely hate. My history of the Emoji Movie goes something like this. Around the time that it came out in theaters, around 2017, 2018, I had heard all sorts of negative things. It had a 0% score on Rotten Tomatoes at the time. I'm sure it's probably changed now. It's probably a little higher. It even went on to win the Golden Razzie Awards for Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay, and Tony Leonis, the director of this film, won for Worst Director. It really cleaned up at the Golden Razzies. And so I was scrolling through my Netflix one night and I saw it, and I was like, it can't be that bad, can it? Slight spoiler, but it was. It absolutely was. But my history of this movie goes back even further than that. My dad and I went to see some other movie, and during the coming attractions is when I got my first taste of Emoji Movie. The first trailer I saw was just the dad Matt, being blankly staring at you and monotonely saying these lines right here. I'm so excited to tell you about our new movie, the Emoji Movie. Yay. It's almost too thrilling for me to put into words. So bring your family. Bring your kids. Doesn't even have to be your kids. Immediately, my spider sense started going off, and my very first thought was, this is going to be terrible, isn't it? And this is where we also got our first look at Patrick Stewart as the poop emoji, but we'll get to that in a bit. The plot, or lack thereof, is as generic as it gets. Really covers all the bases, too. A protagonist who doesn't fit into societal norms, a comic relief sidekick, and a thinly veiled love interest who doesn't fall for the main character at first. Really covers all the bases. But mainly the writers just focus on shilling out to real games and apps such as Candy Crush, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X now, YouTube, Spotify, and Dropbox, and most of these are plot points. I'm not kidding. And here's a tip to all the writers out there in the world. This movie is why you don't write internet slang into your scripts. There's characters who make hashtag jokes like hashtag blessed. They say things like NBD, which is no big deal, I think, and slay. And it was bad then, but it's bad now, but I'm willing to bet those phrases were already old by the time this movie came out. So basically, this is why you don't write internet slang in your scripts. Because there's a chance it's already old then. There's also a subplot in the human world of a teenage boy named Alex trying to ask out a girl named Addie to the prom. but it honestly means so little and serves zero purpose to the context of the movie, as opposed to another film that this was trying to be, Inside Out. The voice acting from everyone is serviceable at best, but then there are voice actors who have no business being here. Patrick Stewart as the poop emoji. Why would you even get out of bed and record lines for this, Patrick? If you said you did this for your kids or your grandkids, I would understand that. A lot of people use that excuse. But at the same time, you're Jean-Luc Picard, Professor X. You're going to be retiring soon, and this movie is probably the only black streak in your record, an otherwise legendary acting career. They don't even use him properly. All he does is make poop and toilet-related puns. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, except with ice puns. You're Mr. Toilet. I'm trying to be... I know there's a lot of other words I could have used, but I'm trying to be PG here. I'm trying to not be as crude. You've also got Maya Rudolph as the smiling emoji, Smiler. She's also trying her darndest, but she also has zero business signing on to this movie. This is another one where I'm just like, why would you willingly record lines for this? Anywho, aside from the internet slang and product placement, the comedy falls flat in every single way. This might just be the only movie I've seen where I just sat there dull-faced. I didn't laugh or even chuckle at anything. I just stared at it like this. And felt my soul die. Like something inside of me shrank 3 times when I watched this movie. It was like a reverse Grinch moment. However I feel about this movie now, it really doesn't matter either way. Because Sony Animation bounced back hard. How is it that the company that made this movie went on to make Spider-Verse, Mitchells vs. Machines, and K-pop Demon Hunters? They're even giving Disney and DreamWorks a run for their money. They've really bounced back hard, and if making this movie is what it took for them to reach that level, so be it.